I came to Drake in the fall of 1981. I was a legacy. My father, Philip Johnson, was a member here of Sigma Alpha Epsilon, graduated in 1958. My uncle, Peter Johnson, was also an SAE here, graduated in 1956. And so as far as a family tradition, really, we always came back to the Drake Relays every year since I was 10 years old. They always brought me to the fraternity house on the Friday of the relays. It was a great time. And so there was really never any question. I was going to go to Drake. I wanted to go to Drake, and I wanted to be an SAE. You know, it's funny that you asked that question because just as I was out on the deck eating a hamburger there, I was thinking of some of those great times. And one of them that just happened to kind of stick out in my mind was a year that they had done a lot of renovation to the house. The floors had been redone up here, the upstairs had been remodeled. We were really looking to have a strong rush class for that year. So all the guys came back and were particularly on time for the work week preceding the rush time. And I can remember the weather was terrific, and we came out and in force. We came out for a purpose. We really put the finishing touches on the house, made it look great, had a great time working all day, had a great time going out, with each other in the evening, and I think we had probably one of our strongest rush classes that year that the house had probably had in a decade or so. As far as what SAE has done for me and made me, again, as I said in response to one of your prior questions, having a father and having an uncle who were members of this very chapter, instilled a lot of the sort of the SAE traditions, the things, manners and etiquette and true gentlemen and so on and so forth. But I've been very fortunate in the group of guys that I went through with during my years here have really a close-knit bond. They've put together an email list with dozens and dozens of brothers on it, and it's nice just during your day. You happen to go out and you check your email, and there are 45 emails from different guys back and forth, giving each other grief about one thing or another, or some kind of political humor or what it might be. But it's great that you feel that the strength of that relationship. I haven't been back to the relays now for a few years. But you go over and you run into one of your fraternity brothers over in Peggy's, and it's like you've never been away. That friendship feels just as strong today as it did 25 years ago when I graduated. I'm a trial attorney, and when at the conclusion of different trials, after you've had all your witnesses on the stand and you've given your closing arguments, there's a point in time where my adversary will give his argument, and there's nothing I can say after he's done, and it's not something I'm particularly willing to listen to. So in each trial that I've had in the last 20 years, while my opponent has been giving his summation, I have taken out my legal pad and I have written the true gentleman. Sometimes multiple times, whatever it takes. Count the words, count the phrases, count the punctuation, and I think just in that setting, it's a reaffirmation of the principles that were tried to be taught to us while we were here in the fraternity house, and were things that would be very helpful in championing to us in life as we went on. And those are our principles that we try to abide by every day. The true gentleman is the man whose conduct proceeds from goodwill and an acute sense of propriety, and whose self-control is equal to all emergencies, who does not make the poor man conscious of his poverty, the obscure man of his obscurity, or any man of his inferiority or deformity, who does not flatter wealth, cringe before power, or boast of his own possessions or achievements, who speaks with frankness but always with sincerity and sympathy, whose deed follows his word, who thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than his own, and who appears well in any company. John Walter Whalen.